It is 5:30. Let's call this meeting of the Planning and Zoning Commission meeting to order. The first item on our agenda for tonight is approval of minutes for the October 21st meeting. Commissioners, do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion that we approve the minutes of October 21st, 2020.
Second.
Bruce makes the motion and Brian makes the second. And I guess we'll do roll call. Well, we don't need to do roll call because we're all physically here. So all those in favor say aye. Aye. Same sign opposed? All right, that passes. Second item on the agenda is approval of minutes from December. However, those did not make it into our agenda packet this month, so we are going to push that to next month. Next item on our agenda is case number PD 20201-001. Property owner Taylor Canute of Harbin Street LLC is requesting a rezone of property 0S Harbin Drive, parcel R73763 of Southside Edition, Block 19, Lot 15 of the City of Stephenville, Erath County, Texas, from B2, Retail and Commercial Business, to PD, Planned Development. The applicant will present a conceptual plan. Formal action for the rezone request and approval of the planned development will be considered at the April 2021 meeting. Steve, do you have something to offer here?
Yes, ma'am, Madam Chair. Thank you. Tonight, we are asking that the commission evaluate a conceptual plan and provide direction to the applicant in regards to the commission's desires for the project. Mr. Taylor Canute is the applicant, and he is requesting a rezone from B2 to planned development. His project will be a mixed-use project with residential, which would be multifamily, and then limited commercial with retail, restaurant, and office space. The project will front Harbin Street. In your packet, we have included the requirements for a planned development. And tonight, as you stated, is simply to review the conceptual plan, and then all the remaining requirements would be to be discussed at the future meeting in April. If you would please look at page 9, there is an ownership requirement for an applicant with the plan development. The Canutes have provided me documentation on that, and it's under review by the city attorney's office. Also on page 10, paragraph 8G, speaks of the concept plan, which is why we're here tonight, is to review the concept plan, and Mr. Canute has provided some documentation which is included in your packet, and I believe there's a rendering in transit now. And then also, I believe on page 12, page 12, paragraph 8L speaks of additional conditions. And what I'd like to point out here is that the commission can make additional conditions as a recommendation to be directed to council. So if there, with the plan development, if you have things that you would like to see included in the development, those can certainly be recommended and considered. But also with the plan development, there are areas where you have the latitude to relax some of the requirements of the ordinance and allow for the project to move forward. So again, tonight we are simply asking for your attention on the conceptual plan. Staff has 8 to 9 items that we will discuss with the Canutes as they move forward on their plan development, which they will present their plan and development schedule in April for your review. And with that, that concludes my report, ma'am.
Thank you, Steve. Mr. Canute, would you like to go ahead?
Sure. Appreciate it again. I know it's the second time in 2 weeks we've been here, so it's good to see all of you again. I think Steve covered that pretty well again. We do have, I believe they're in your packet, but we do have just some larger visual printouts that should be here any minute that we can put up front for you all to see. Basically what we are proposing over on the 7-acre tract on the, I guess that would be the east side of Harbin Drive over there. We are allocating or planning on allocating 5.5 of the 7 acres, and our conceptual plan right now shows a layout of 62 townhome units in a combination of 4 and 6 unit buildings. Very similar. If you haven't been over there, we just recently completed a similar townhome project on North Floral Street and North Vine Street, just behind where the Fuzzy's Tacos is. That's 12 units over there. These are going to be aesthetically very similar to those, mixture of stone and board and batten siding, and these are just going to be slightly smaller than what we have over there. Those are about 1,650 square feet. We're proposing 2 different floor plans on this one, going to be in between 1,250 and 1,400 square feet, with the end units on the buildings being slightly larger, 2-car garages. And then that leaves 1.5 acres on the corner of Harbin and Swan to be retail, restaurant, commercial. And we've actually been talking to a number of people that have been interested in that kind of corridor right there. So and we also have close to 3 acres on the other side of the street that it's zoned industrial currently. We're still working on a number of retail and possibly restaurant, office options on that side of the street as well. But what we're here to talk about tonight is the 5.5 acres, the planned development, which is 7 acres total, but 5.5 acres of single-family attached homes with 1.5 acres of commercial on the corner.
You're referring to the other side of the street, is that the other side of Harbin Street?
Yes.
Where previously there was a sign there called Tarleton Crossing that's no longer there?
Yes, we took the signs down. The development is
Okay.
still under the same name.
Okay.
We just, having now introducing this residential plan, we just wanted to kind of take everything down and start anew, so.
The other development you said that's in the area, is that the one with the backs of the buildings to the railroad tracks? Across the tracks?
No. The one I'm referring to literally is a 12-unit townhome development right off the Bosque River Trail over on North Floral Street in town here.
Oh, okay.
I just bring it up because it's a very similar architecture style
Okay.
and floor plan to what we're going to be proposing over on Harbin.
Are these going to be rentals or owned?
So we, as the developer, we build to sell. We don't, with our development over here, we didn't build and rent them out. It's been a pretty 50-50 split mix between owner-occupied and rentals. We anticipate with this development being closer to the university, probably have a handful of them be rentals as well. But we've seen a pretty decent influx of inquiries for people wanting to buy townhomes to occupy themselves. We actually, if we had more room over there, we've assembled a little bit of a waiting list for people that want more units over there, but we're kind of landlocked, so.
Any other questions from the commissioners?
Yeah, I'm concerned about water runoff. I was over there this morning looking at it, and the water runoff from this piece of property goes underneath the railroad and goes into a wooded area on the other side.
Can you unmute me? Unmute. City of Stephenville, unmute.
Can you hear us now?
I can, thank you.
But I noticed that on Grossbeck Street, which is just to the, I guess, the south of that wooded area, there was actually water standing on the street. And the one house, the first house off of Harbin, looked like it was, its elevation was probably about 6 inches above the street level. So, and they had water standing in their front yard, so I'm wondering what consideration you've given to runoff on this property, because obviously with it being open now, you know, the ground soaks up a lot of it, so with you covering it, what are you planning to doing about runoff?
Well, I do know, when we first started this project a couple of years ago, we were working with a different engineer, and they actually did a drainage study taking into account some water coming in from the north, as well as what the potential impact of our site was. They were proposing a detention area down on, I guess it was the bottom right corner, if you're looking at the site
Right
plan,
next to the
which-
railroad tracks.
Yes, which shows it,
Okay.
and our new engineer, Jacob and Martin, they're out of Abilene. They've done a couple of projects with the city, I believe, and most recently they worked with us to fix a drainage issue we had at our townhome development. So they're, I don't want to speak for them, and Tal, who's leading up, he's the
Okay.
engineer leading this up.
Well, that-
He'll be involved in these talks as we go on as well too here. But on that proposed plan that you have, he does have a detention site and actually reroutes any runoff coming from our property via the streets, or he has actually a 10-foot drainage channel going along the back side of the property. And what he has on that paper, I believe, adequately should hold whatever impact we have
Okay.
on our side.
So the retention ponds, or the retention pond, or whatever you wanna call it, is probably gonna be pretty close to where those culverts go underneath the railroad tracks then?
Yes, I
Yeah,
believe so.
Okay,
That was my question, because on this diagram that I'm looking at, it looks like the retention pond is probably in the wrong place, but I haven't been over to look at it recently, but I do know where Bruce is talking about. And it looks like that pond would need to be back toward the east side of the property instead of over next to Harbin. But there again, your guys will know more about where to put that thing than we will.
Right, and I
Yeah.
understand, I know exactly what you're saying. Again, it's a conceptual layout that's subject to change, but I don't wanna speak for our engineer, but he's actually seen the site, he's very aware of the issues you're bringing to light there, so I think,
Sure, are these old conceptual drawings or new ones? Are these like from the original?
the one.
Plan,
you
or
have-
these the latest?
62 units, that's the newest drawing that we
Okay.
have, because this is the first time we're introducing
Okay.
a residential component to that.
Gotcha.
And I didn't include them in the documents to Steve, but we have old site plans that I can also show. The retail has always been, previously it was going to be a hotel and convention center on the back part of that property. Retail on that corner has always been our goal. We're just switching gears and we're trying to move forward with this residential component in the back side of the property.
Is the hotel still planned?
No.
No,
We're
okay.
moving forward with
Gotcha.
this.
The train tracks there, I know that was an issue from what I'd heard with the hotel being able to get enough insulation to be a sound barrier. Would y'all try to do some landscaping and maybe some extra insulation on the units closer to the tracks?
Possibly. I know right now we currently do all blown insulation, and most of our common walls or all of our common walls over here are staggered 2x4 studs. So you have an 8-inch wall with 2 layers of fire rated drywall plus tape plus blown insulation. So they're pretty soundproof. And the exterior walls are all blown insulation as well. So to a degree, I mean, the train whistle is what it is. I think it's 2 during the day and 2 at night. It's not like it's going constantly back and forth there, but we do our best to make sure we're more worried about people hearing their neighbors next to them than the train.
Yeah, I think I would be too.
But so far, we haven't had really any complaints from homeowners over there. They're pretty soundproof buildings, so.
without it being a hotel, I mean, I've lived close to railroad tracks, and by the third or fourth night, you don't even hear it anymore.
Yeah, you get used to it.
So it looks like this is your conceptual plan of the exterior?
Yeah, so that's a front elevation of the 6-unit building, and that's pretty accurate to what they're gonna look like. There might be some stone added on the front, but like I said earlier, 2-car garage on the end units, so we have 2 floor plans instead of 1 on this development.
Now, where's the other 3 units, on the other side of the building?
So they're all.
Those appear to be 3 units there, that
No,
picture.
It's actually 6.
Six.
You have your end unit 4 interior units, so single car garage, single car garage, single car garage, single car, and then a.
Oh,
on the
okay.
outside. The
Okay.
entrances to the interior units are set back slightly. The difference being the
I see. Okay.
2-story units have a open, yeah.
It just looks to me like a 3-unit, but okay.
Any other questions?
I don't have any.
Okay, I think we're good. I'm excited. It looks
We
good.
Appreciate that.
Yeah.
It's good to hear. We are too. We've always, since we came to town a couple years ago, we've always been very keen on this property, and I think with the proximity to the university and, we kind of dipped our toe in the water over there with our townhomes, and, there's been a pretty good response from it, and we're, proud of the product we built, and we're hoping to put these units over there and do more of the same.
Excellent. All right, I think we're good. Thank you, sir.
Alrighty, I
Appreciate
your
it.
time. Thank you.
Now, Steve, we don't need to do anything, right? We've got,
No, ma'am, there's no formal action to
Okay.
be taken tonight, other than if you have any recommendations for the developer.
do
or
we?
for
Does
staff.
anybody have any? Yeah, I think we're all good.
Yeah, I think maybe just make sure that we keep the sidewalks on the Harbin and Swan Street, just to make it a little easier for the students to be able to walk to campus. And
Yeah.
that'd be about it.
Yeah, ensure that we don't waiver the sidewalks on that one.
No,
Yeah,
not this one.
all right. All right, we're good then.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Thank you, sir. Second? This meeting is adjourned. Thank you, everybody, for coming. We appreciate your time.